Friday night was my niece's birthday party, and she turned 9 years old. And I'm like, they're playing the Nets. I could keep an eye on the Nets game. I don't need to sit down and watch every second of the Nets game. And I had said on the show that they were going to lose that game.
You did.
And
non-basketball Sprague.
Yep. He's on a heater right now, isn't he? And I was at a bowling alley that was very populated. I'll put it that way. I mean, it was packed to the gills.
Packed Friday night bowling alley.
Old people, young people, families, video games, laser tag was had. And I'm seeing this Nets-Blazers game, and I'm looking up, and I'm like, God, they're up almost 30.
They're killing them.
They are killing the Nets.
Absolutely crushing them.
And I'm just going to share with you because I hear this and I see this stuff, and I instantly I think, what would Dirt say if he was with me here? Two people I was with basically told me, I love this. This is great. I don't want losing culture. I love that they're winning. And then right before our second bout of laser tag, because you don't just play laser tag once.
You're not just playing once. You got to go round two.
You got to go round
two. You got to work out the kinks in round one. When was the last time you played laser tag? Now I got all that worked out. Now let's go round two.
In the waiting room, as we're sitting in the glow room where the lights, the Blu-ray lights are like making everything white shine and bright colors, there's maybe a 17-year-old talking to me and my brother-in-law, and he goes, did you see those Blazers? They keep winning.
Here we go.
I love it. And I went, oh, my God. There's a phrase about 3 years ago I said on a podcast, and since people have kind of used it and taken it, and I'm okay with people using it, but make sure you don't just act like you created it. I did. I'm the OG of it. And that was at the start of this tank. I said quite clearly, we're not built for this. And I said it clear as day, as honest as you could say it. Because I knew this city could not handle sucking for like 4 to 5 straight years if it meant getting more ping pong balls. One of my hottest takes brewing is that Trailblazer fans actually don't really care if they win the championship. They just want to like their team and enjoy watching them.
They just want to be entertained on a Tuesday night.
We're not one of these cities that's like, hey,
bigger picture.
Well, it also goes to the fact that if you want to see the highest level sports entertainment in the city, that's it. So if you're spending your money on that, you don't want to constantly dump your money in and see crap.
You just want it to be good, and you want to say, hey, we made
good,
the playoffs,
entertaining. Yes,
we pushed the title winner as hard as anybody has.
Let's think about if we had an NHL team or we had a Major League Baseball team. We're getting excited for spring training, and
you would have other things to spend your money on, and they wouldn't have a monopoly on the market. I've argued that for many years.
But it was just funny, Dirt, that being out in the open at a very busy place, the bar area is cheering as the Blazers are just pounding the Nets into oblivion, and I got a 17-year-old. I'm going the other way from the old drunks at the bar to the other way. Laser tag Tim is just like, hey, how about our Blazers?
How about those Blazers
right now, aren't they?
We're going to the playoffs.
And I remember leaning in going, you don't want Cooper Flag? And he went, it's just, we're so good, and maybe we're just going to keep growing. And I just went, Dirt would really enjoy this. Dirt would really, really enjoy this moment.
Oh, and then you start doing the math in your head, realizing how far you are away from one of those play-in spots and the record that you would have to have the rest of the way and how bad the teams that are currently in the play-in situation would have to finish the year just in order to make up the ground to get there. But I digress on facts. Let's not bring those in. I actually don't have a lot of complaints out of this weekend, Bob. I don't. Now, they won. I didn't know much about Brooklyn. You told me they were going to win. I watched that game kind of on and off. Didn't see a ton of it. I watched the majority of the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Because it was 12:30, middle of the day. We got done. The little boy was taking a nap.
How
so
good is
like,
a 12:30 game?
It was perfect. Ideal, delightful.
So
it's not in the middle of the night. Thank, for the love of God, if somebody's got to get up early, that game was done early.
Yeah.
That was an incredibly entertaining basketball game.
It might have been my favorite game of the year.
That might have been the best basketball game of the year. It was delightful that they ended up losing it at the end of it. But when you have games where Jeremy Grant's not in the starting lineup and not playing, DeAndre Ayton's not in the starting lineup and not playing, I mean, really the only other guy that I got a complaint left with is Anthony Simons. That's it. Anthony Simons is the only one. So 2 of the 3 guys that I'm complaining about still being here and taking up minutes from the young guys aren't in the lineup. And so when you win a game in blowout fashion, one, what the hell was that, Brooklyn? Can we bring a little bit of effort and intensity?
No kidding.
The Blazers started Chris Murray and played him 30 minutes in that game. They made Shaedon Sharpe again look like baby Kobe, which, hey, I'm glad that we're back now to playing him, although I'm sure that will change at some point when Jeremy Grant comes back. But when you're playing the young guys and they're playing that way and they're winning, dude, yesterday, the way Denny Avdia played, there's nothing that I complain about there because he had a 30-point, 12 assists, 10 rebound or whatever it was, triple-double. He was easily the best player on the floor the entire game. I don't know if anybody was even within striking distance. I know Hunter had a nice game for Cleveland, but dude, he was incredible in that game yesterday. And so this has been my argument the entire time. If you're going to have games that you win because it's Shaedon, it's Scoot, Klingon had a rough one yesterday, so we need to get into that. But, like, Klingon occasionally
hasn't had a good one in a while.
No, he hasn't. He had, 6 fouls in 10 minutes or whatever it was, although the last one was a horrible call, and I don't even think he touched the guy. But anyways, if those guys are leading you to wins, then I throw my hands in the air and say, well, what the hell you got to do, right? Like, the whole idea of being a tanking basketball team, I get this often as somebody who argues for it. You can't make professional athletes lose, Dirt. You can't make them throw the game. It's like I'm not asking for them to throw the game. I'm asking for the organization to put the team in a position that's not going to win a lot of games. And Jeremy Grant and DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons, those kind of games, win you more games that you would if they were not on the roster. So in a weekend when those guys aren't in the lineup and you're getting led by Avdia's 30, 12, and 10, Sharpe was awesome. What did he start on Friday night? 7 for 7 in that game against Brooklyn? The dude couldn't miss in the first half of that game. I just throw my hands in the air and say, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think the thing about this, though, that I'm kind of getting at is the way that they're doing this, even if you have, Anthony Simons should have been traded stuff, which is like it's over. There's kind of no point in bringing that up anymore. He's not going to get traded. He may not get traded in the summer. If you told me all 3 of those vets are back next year, I actually wouldn't bat an eye at you.
Neither would I.
It would be the least surprising thing,
you tell me Chauncey Billups signs a contract extension to return as head coach?
Or they just pick up the option
I wouldn't be the least surprised.
Sure. I've actually seen people go that way, too, of like, I don't want to lose Chauncey. Now, we do poll questions, and sometimes what we hear and what we see is different than the results of a poll question on the internet. So, I don't know how to truly gauge some of this stuff. I'm just telling you, having been out during multiple Blazer games this year, I mean, I already kind of knew it, but you see it. I see it happening. I see a lot of people.
Rip City Fever's taking over.
That actually watch and pay attention and give the Blazers their time. We hear from people who don't watch the NBA or they're like, oh, they're not worth my time and my money. Okay, that's fine. But I actually see the people who do get their time and their money and their energy, and they like it. And they like what they're seeing with this.
They do.
So, we talked with Ben Golliver on Friday, who wasn't the most complimentary of the way that they're doing this. But I think what I see is people that are
that's us as a fan base.
They're just enjoying. Yeah, they are enjoying this. And I'm not saying the majority. I'm not saying I'm just saying I see it out in different places now all the time. That when this team is on a TV and they're winning, you hear people talking about it as if they're like the 2nd seed in the West, and this is the same year as 99-2000, or like, hey, how about if we get in?
You never know.
You don't want to play us.
We're that dangerous 8 seed.
And admittedly, we'll get to the Cleveland game from yesterday, but it was funny to see the 50-year-old guy at the bar and then hear Laser Tag Tim be like, so sweet. And it's just like there's just multiple generations of the same fan developing in this city and has been now for quite some time of like, I just want to be good, It's like, what about a title? Well, I mean, are we though?
Just give me an entertaining brand of basketball.
Yeah.
Every two or three times a week.
Yeah.
And then the season will come and go, and we'll see you again next year.
We're going to be the 8 seed that beats the 1 seed.
Yes. And I mean, the math on that is not in your favor. You're still 5 games out of the 10 seed right now. Sacramento, Dallas are tied. And then you got LA, the Clippers, that is. Golden State and Minnesota are all, 5.5-ish games ahead of you. So you do the math. What do the Blazers got? 20-ish? What do we have? About 20 games left?
20.
Right in that range. So you start playing that game where you got to make up 5 against any of those teams or 5.5 against some of them.
Yeah, you need somebody to go on epic.
I mean, you're looking at, you got to finish the season legitimately at 15-5 in the last 20-ish games, and somebody would have to finish the season, do the math the other way.
Well,
Maybe
they're probably going to miss the play-in.
Yeah.
we've been saying that for a little.
I mean,
quite some time.
I just like making sure that reality sets in for some
But look
people
at
who
this
now
schedule.
think this stretch means that you're going to the playoffs. It does not mean that
Yeah.
you're going to the playoffs.
Well, but now they've got at Philly. They're going to win that game because Philly blows. At Boston.
This is the one that I wouldn't be surprised if it was a dud after the game. And a back-to-back after yesterday. I know it was
Yeah.
an earlier flight.
Okay.
And I know Philly sucks this year, and
They're
they're
really bad.
But although
Maxey could kill them.
Playoff P shut down his podcast, so it's serious basketball time now in Philadelphia.
I think they lost as soon as he announced that. I think they lost the very next game.
But that's one of like you're playing the best team in the league. You get up for it. You play a really good game. You lose in heartbreaking fashion. I could see today being an egg for them.
Okay, so if they were to lay an egg, we can get to this on the other side because I want to actually talk about the Cleveland game. It was a lot of fun.
That game was awesome.
Win or lose at Philly, this is the schedule after that. At Boston, at OKC.
Yeah.
Home Detroit, at Golden State, home New York.
Then it gets tough.
That's a
tough stretch.
That's a wicked 5-gamer.
Yeah. That's what they say.
It's a wicked 5-gamer. And I don't know what their record's going to be in those 5, but much like yesterday, even though the Cavs didn't have Donovan Mitchell, this team is feisty.
They are.